Put this yummy gummy through a science experiment that models what happens to a cell in an environment that's more watery than the cell is inside. And what I saw came as no surprise.
Evaporation comes when the heat from the sun warms up all the groundwater, then it turns to water vapor.
My gummy expanded, quintupled in weight. My gummy expanded and increased so great. So listen up as Mr. W explains this. It's all about osmosis.
Condensation takes over, it goes up to the clouds. Water vapor cools down and it changes to a liquid now.
Osmosis is the diffusion of water across a membrane or a water permeable border, diffusing like all molecules in fluid situations from higher to lower concentration.
Precipitation happens when the drops get big. It falls like rain, snow, sleet, and hail upon my head. I know it's the water cycle happening again. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation.
Osmosis, H2O diffusing. Osmosis, see the water oozing. Hypotonic to hypertonic flow. Osmosis, let's go.
The water cycle takes the water and moves it up and down and all around the earth. The water cycle takes the water and moves it up and down and all around the earth.
Let's talk about our gummy and osmotic terms. Hypotonic, hypertonic, isotonic are the words you can use to discuss water's watery diffusion. Learn them well to avoid confusion. Hypotonic means higher water concentration and relatively lower solute concentration. Hypertonic is the opposite, percent of water's less, with more solute dissolved inside, as you might guess.
Evaporation comes when the heat from the sun warms up all the groundwater, then it turns to water vapor.
So let's take these terms and apply them to our gummy bear. I'm looking at the package and seeing what it says here. Each bear is mostly sugar with some other stuff mixed in, and holding it together is the protein gelatin. So when you put a gummy in a cup of H2O, it's readily apparent that the gummy is so hypertonic to the water that it's in, and the water's hypotonic to our little gummy friend.
Condensation takes over, it goes up to the clouds. Water vapor cools down and it changes to a liquid now.
And so through osmosis, the water will diffuse into the gummy, which soon will look so huge. The mass it gains is water, which will infiltrate the gummy, which one day later is looking pretty funny.
Precipitation happens when the drops get big. It falls like rain, snow, sleet, and hail upon my head. I know it's the water cycle happening again. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation.
Osmosis, H2O diffusing. Osmosis, see the water oozing. Hypotonic to hypertonic flow. Osmosis, let's go.
The water cycle takes the water and moves it up and down and all around the earth. The water cycle takes the water and moves it up and down and all around the earth.
I took this freshwater plant, name is Elodia. It lives in lakes and ponds, never in the salty sea. In freshwater, Elodia cells are full and firm. It's all about osmosis, as we're gonna confirm. See, the cells are hypertonic to their watery exterior, so water will diffuse into the cell's interior, expanding the membrane, pushing it against the wall. In fact, you can't see the membrane at all.
Evaporation comes when the heat from the sun warms up all the groundwater, then it turns to water vapor.
But add some salty water so the outside's hypertonic, and water leaves the hypotonic cells, it's so osmotic. Membrane leaves the wall, the cells inside are scrunched, with the chloroplasts all stuck together in a bunch. That's why at the grocery store they always have that mister. The water on the veggies helps to keep them crisper. The droplets on the veggies are a hypotonic brew. Osmosis moves the water in, the veggies look brand new.
Condensation takes over, it goes up to the clouds. Water vapor cools down and it changes to a liquid now.
Dried fruit and beef jerky preservation is osmotic. Their low water content makes the dry food hypertonic. So any germs and molds that fall upon them lose their water and die and don't contaminate the dry food in the larder.
Precipitation happens when the drops get big. It falls like rain, snow, sleet, and hail upon my head. I know. It's the water cycle happening again. Evaporation,
Animals, cells in situations hypertonic lose their water, shrink and shrivel. Looks so sick, but an animal cell in hypotonic abode gains water and expands, eventually explodes. Cause animal cells lack a wall, of course, so nothing pushes back at the osmotic force. Water flows from hypotonic to the hypertonic cell, which bursts cause the membrane can't stop the swell. If you want to keep a frog hard outside a body beating, an isotonic fluid is what you'll be needing. Water concentration same on each side of the cell. No gain or loss of water, the cells feel so swell. And a paramecium, which lives in ponds and lakes, constantly fights osmotic water uptake. The contractile vacuoles a pumping adaptation to deal with this osmotic situation. Osmosis, H2O diffusing. Osmosis, see the water oozing. Hypotonic to hypertonic